like the first four, so we're not that bad. Alright, so this is the first save slot that we have. This is actually a build by my little brother. He saved it over something else that I had been working on, which I was pretty upset about. But yeah, this is a thing that exists. It's just a bunch of basic mechanical blocks and things put together to make a car. I don't even know if it works. Oh, I teleported back outside. Yeah, no, it does not look like it really works well. Okay, he's not bringing it over, so we'll look at the next save slot while he waits. Next up is the Racer. This is a magnet glitch that I built almost 6 years ago, and I have been fine-tuning it since that day. And you will notice something about this compared to other magnet grinders. Watch what happens when we run into a block or a stationary object. It flips out a little bit, but then it stabilizes slowly. Now, most old magnet grinders will go completely unstable when they hit a object, like even more than this one. You might think that that was only a small amount, but it was not compared to the way other magnet grinders become. They become a drill if they so much as touch a block. And we'll fly to the end with this just to see how well it works. And there we are. Another save file down. Now we'll load up the next one while this one gives us our gold. It's funny that you say my builds are also good because a lot of these I'm not actually that much of a fan of. Looks like someone is bringing a tank over to our base. Oh, it's powered by motors. So this is how tank drive works. You have the two wheels that do not respond for some reason. I need to turn up the wheel torque. Now that we've seen a demo of how the tank treads work themselves, now we can use this. And we raise up those. And I'm gonna drive over this thing now. Let's lift this plane up. Uh-oh, is that a nuclear bomb? Server is lagging really bad now. I think they did just nuke it because the server is frozen completely. Unless that's just my Wi-Fi. That might just be my Wi-Fi that's not working. Um, yep, they set off a nuke. I just heard the explosions. Alright, we have to ban whoever just set off that nuke. Gotta get these people to move out of the way. Alright, now we're gonna load. And here we have this grinder that you guys have probably seen before if you have watched the grinder history video. If not, I'll leave a link to it at the end of this video or in the description. But yeah, this works by having these wheels under the river that hold you down when you hit rocks so that when the main part rolls forwards and hits rocks, it doesn't bounce off into the sky, which lets you go really fast through the stages at a constant speed. Except for this stage, because that stage has stuff below the water that breaks it. So now I just have to go thruster mode. Not really an optimal run for the roller, but it's still money nonetheless. Alright, next up we have the old cars save slot. I could have just named it Cars 1, but for some reason I named it Old Cars. You can see this old card save slot has this thing in it as well. I took it out of the save slot and put it in its own because I wanted to work on it with faster load times. So we can just ignore this and look at everything else in the save file. Now we reset, and just when it's about to finish, we hit launch. So first we're going to look at this blocky race car that I made. This was before we had anything like the scale tool or the screwdriver tool or the trowel tool. Um, I did update it a little bit with new wheels, but I think these new wheels are stuck on this thing because I tried doing this video earlier and didn't work out. So let's just detach those and try driving this around. Oh, well, how did we just get that stuck? That's interesting. But yeah, it should also have a drifting mechanism. I don't know if it works anymore. Left E, Q. Oh, Q is to drift, but it's not working right. Let's load up. Not load up. Let's look at the next car. We have this little ramp car here that I keep jumping off of by accident. I don't think it actually works at all. Oh, it does work! And now we're stuck. I don't know why he's got a bunch of magnets under his tank. Oh, and we flipped over. Yeah, that's the little ramp car experiment. Let's load. I keep saying load. Let's look at the next one. This is a truck that's supposed to have a shipping container. Um, let's go over to the container actually, right here. And if we grab it with this gold harpoon, it should be able to attach. Okay, but now it should be attached. For the most part. Let's go and give this guy a free shipping container. Alright. Hello, TNT. Welcome to the stream. Right here we have an old big car that I updated with modern wheels. This thing is actually kind of fun to drive around. Let's see how far we can get on the river with it. Goodness, it's fast. I also didn't choose the best material for the wheels. Oh, look, there's the remains of a dinosaur there. Completely inferior to our big car. We have all our flying machines for grinding. There's no need for big cars like this. But still, you can't argue that grinding like this is fun. Like, come on. How much more fun can you have than driving through the river with a car that's so powerful like this? And there we are. That's a big car grinder. Now let's take a look at the rest of the things in the save slot, and then we'll move on to the next one. Okay, that was actually everything in the save slot, so on to the next one. Next we have Strong. Oh, he's gone. So this is supposed to be like a very durable car. It was just an experiment to see like how well I could make wheels take damage and stuff. It does seem to have a bit of a wobbling problem here. Let's turn down the servo torque. I think that'll fix it. Yeah, that did the trick. Let's get into here. Okay, it has tank drive where you use W and S to control the right side and Q and A to control the left side. And basically it's supposed to take like a ton of damage and be able to be drivable still. It's the Minecraft Create mod, he says. That's funny. Um, so let's just blow up our wheels. How does that sound? And once those are loaded, because they're not key binding yet. Come on. Someone's lagging the server again. Just put some bombs everywhere. How about that? And blow it up. Hmm. Okay, that was maybe a little too much. But hey, we still got some locomotion going on in here. Okay, I have to turn on isolation mode because these people are getting kind of annoying. Hey, we are loading up now. This is a pretty simple little tank that I made once. Let's see how well it drives. Yeah, this is very laggy. Seems to be stabilizing a bit though. Let's see how the cannon controls that. Some kind of magnet glitch, I think. And let's fire this thing. Oh, it's got a machine gun. Okay. Interesting. Alright. Well, that's a fun little tank to mess around with. Not really anything special, so let's move on to the next one. E4XL. Oh no. Oh no. Quickly ban him! Quickly ban him! I can't ban him! Get him out! Get him out of the server! Okay, thank God, we prevented someone from nuking the server. I don't know who that was, but YPP something tried to crash our server with a nuke. But yeah, this is the P4XL with the shipping container, of course. Because why not build shipping containers for all your trucks? Now, it has some pretty wobbly suspension. This was back before the spring update, so we had to use things like servos for suspension. But let's see how well this drives. It's not terrible. Once you start moving, the suspension seems to stabilize a lot more. Turning ratio is pretty wide, but that is not too much of a problem. It's mostly built for detail. Oh, also, I made working tail lights for some reason. It uses a servo to push the neon block up into the lights, the glass, I mean. And yeah, that's the P4XL. It's got working doors. I never really did much more with this thing. I might someday. Let's load up the next one. Museum. This here is a collection of rare or removed blocks. So these over here are blocks that you get from codes, like the star block, the heart block, fireworks, candy, and cake. Although you could get candy from the Halloween events, but those are long gone. Over here are what I did a long time ago was I placed every single block in the game as they came out, so that if any blocks got deleted from the game, we would be able to have them in the save slot. But the problem is those blocks that got deleted from the game, they disappeared from the save slots as well. So we can't show those off, sadly. Then over here are blocks that you get from events like the dragon egg, the cookie wheel, egg cannon, jack-o'-lantern, all these winter boat motors and jetpacks and stuff. Over here are quote unquote various lost blocks. I don't think these trees are lost anymore. I think you can obtain these again. But this here is actually called a giant wheel. Let me paint it white or gray that so you can see the details better. These were removed from the game because they decided to replace them with these new giant wheels that have steering and better friction. Uh, so I don't really use these anymore at all because of that. And then over here we have all the chest blocks, which the legendary chest is very rare to have. And we got the plushies. For some reason, this plushie is not over with the other ones. And yeah, so that is the museum. So let's load up the next one, Airship. This here is a rather simple ship that I built a long time ago. It was really empty, and one day when they changed the way balloons work, I was like, hey, I could turn this into an airship just for fun. And so I did, and it worked pretty well, actually. Um, I've slowly added like some more details to it throughout the years, so you'll see we have this kind of like overly fancy rocket launcher thing here, which for some reason one of these flaps will always close. I can't really tell you why. But yeah, this thing is pretty fun to mess around with. We got a trophy with some timers put on it. I don't really know why that's there. Um, so let's detach this all. I believe it's got a stabilizer. We don't need a stabilizer. So let's open up this door here so we can get to the control room. Now it uses an interesting system to turn. We have this giant flywheel in the bottom layer that spins to make the ship turn. Now, it doesn't really work when we're on the ground, but if we lift up into the air, uh, if we lift up into the air, come on, balloons, do your thing. Now we should be able to fully spin around using the flywheel, which is, in my opinion, a pretty cool way to turn. And then we have these boat motor thruster jets that I designed to push the whole thing forwards. And one more feature that it has is a rather simple cannon. Oh, this got closed. How did that happen? This here is a cannon that I made. I don't remember how to get in it. Come on, let me in. Let me in. Let me in. There we go. Now we're stuck in a tree, but you can see it's a controllable cannon that you can sit inside of, and I believe the cameras work. What are the keybinds? Activate V. Oh, and E, and R, C, Q. Oh, I see. But yeah, that is the cannon turret. Now let's load up, not load up, let's look at the rocket turret. This is a interesting turret that I built. I think I kind of designed it off of something in a mobile game. Now let's see the thrusters in the action. Ooh, it's got pretty fast rockets. They kind of seem to go all over the place, but I'm sure if something was close up, you could hit it. And right over here, it's just a simple little armory with all different weapons and stuff, like this hand cannon. Let's shoot their tank down there. Ah! How did the knockback push me forwards? Let's see if he gets hit. Oh, he got hit. He didn't get flung though. But yeah, let's load up the next build. Cars 3. How did Cars 3 get put before Cars 2? I have no clue. Yeah, I know, a small piece of the boat fell off. That doesn't really matter though. What's he doing over there? He make a sphere out of a balloon? Well, that's interesting. Anyways, let's take a look at these builds here. Right here we have kind of like a bank van thing, I think. I honestly don't entirely know what this is supposed to be. Does this close properly? Okay, it's a little bugged because someone messed it up. But this thing used to close with this switch here. What if I just increase the length of this piston? No, that's not gonna work. But it has a few little features. Um, Mostly you might notice it's quite low to the ground, especially for a van like this. Well, not anymore. Now, I do believe it used to extend further than this, but I removed the feature because it was just a little unnecessary. And whoop, we also have a cannon on top, of course. They all fire at once, it seems. I want to see if maybe I can fling someone pretty hard if they all fire at once. Let's wait for it to reload. Oh, he's sitting in a cannon right now. Uh-oh. 6 is lagging the server. We gotta ban him. Huh? Let's look at the next build in this thing, which would be this little factory cart here from the game Satisfactory. And it has very slidey controls, but that is actually how it behaves in the game too, so it's not really that bad. Now, it's surprisingly fast for such small wheels. Now, let's load up, I mean not load up, look at the last thing in this build, which is this train thing that is from the show Mandalorian, and we got a bunch of explosives loaded up in here. Not in this one for some reason. And now we are going to give it a little block to drive over so we can test the suspension. So what's cool about this thing is that you can actually still walk through the hallways for the most part when it's still moving. If we straighten out a little bit here, we should be able to get through here. Like as you can see, while it's moving, you can still get through all of these. Or you can clip onto the roof. It was an old build. I probably would make it better if I tried doing it again today. But yeah, that is the save file. Alright. Now we're gonna load up the next build called Boom. Oh, I think I know what this is. Oh no. Oh boy, this is gonna be quite the explosion. Oh, and there it goes. It flew away! Oh, and off goes the rest of the TNT. Ah! Well, that was fun. That was not as laggy as I had expected it to be. Thank you, Cash, for letting us blow up your build. Now let's load up the next one. AFK. Oh yes, this is a very simple AFK farm that I made. What you do with this is you fly over into the first stage, and then you lock this in place with it. Now, what you do is you turn that down, you turn on anchored, and then you see we have turned this into a conveyor belt. Now, we'll go through to here, get stuck in the ground, teleport back through, get stuck again, and now it's rolling forwards. This is not good. Okay, good, we got in the seat. Now we fly this to the end, and this should hang right above. That'll hang right above the chest. So when we fall down there, we'll get the gold. Hit this switch. Also got a Mario Kart thing. That's kind of cool. And then hands off the keyboard. Does it all on its own. Very simple AFK farm. Of course, you do want a macro to make you jump or click the screen occasionally. But next up is the Omni drive. Now this is a pretty cool one. Alright, it's done loading. So what we've got here is an Omni drive system that lets us turn the wheels around. And the wheels also twist like this so that we can control the angle of our build. Now, next up, we are going to load the DeLorean. This is one of my favorite builds. This is a recreation of the DeLorean based off of the one from the Back to the Future movie. It has a few neat features. Now, this was built a long time before other people started building these DeLoreans. So, when I show you this mechanism here, with these wheels being able to tilt, I designed this before anyone else made a YouTube video about it. And also, of course, we have thrusters that we can fly around and stuff. Because why wouldn't we? It's a DeLorean. Of course we're flying. And then the wheels can go back to normal mode. Now, it also has a drifting mechanism. This little bar here that lifts the back wheels up off of the ground so that we can... Oop, that was pretty bad drift. We can swing around corners and stuff in style. And, oh, I also used it as a grinder for the longest time because, well, look how easy this is. Very simple thruster grinder, basically, but it works as a grinder nonetheless. Now, while that goes, we're going to load up the next one. Battle Fleet. This is a big one. Oh, yeah, the server is completely frozen. See, my messages aren't going through the chat. Oh, boy. Oh! Was it just my Wi-Fi? Might have just been my Wi-Fi. So this is just a fleet of battleships that I made a while ago. This was before we had the trowel tool, so I couldn't make proper corners or anything. But yeah, this is just a simple little thing. I mostly used it for like PvP, because everyone could like jump in a cannon and shoot each other with their own ships, and it was pretty fun. But it wasn't really fun for too long. Not much to see in the ships themselves. We've got a little engine room here with ultra thrusters that move the ship around. A ladder to go up between levels. Apparently, I think the brightness was a lot less when I had I built this on like my tablet with like lowest graphics settings. I don't know, it still seems very bright with the lowest graphics settings. In here we have little like a little screen, I guess. I think each of them actually has a different screen. Yeah, which is pretty cool. Oh, and they were also able to communicate in Morse code, I believe. This is back when I knew Morse code. I've completely forgot it now. But I believe if I press like Q or something. Oh yeah, if you press Q, your little thing will rotate. And you could use this to communicate with some other ships in Morse code, as if there was a as if there was no chat. It was just a funny little quirk. And next up we have Cars 2. Okay, should be done loading, and there we go. Now this one requires a quick reset, and while we're almost done resetting, we hit launch, and that gets all the boats moving, because a lot of them have underground stabilizers. Now, let's start off with this one here. I don't believe that this actually works. Okay, let's look at the next car. I believe this is a little remote-controlled car. Yep. For some reason, the controls are backwards. So left is right, right is left, forwards is backwards, backwards is forwards. Don't really know how that happened, but yeah, little RC car that I made back when cameras were just added. This here is a GTA 5 ramp car. I need to hit that glue. There we go. I believe it does work properly. If we hit, like this truck, for example, it should get... nope, the truck flipped us over, actually. Okay. Yeah, look at that. We can just go zoop right under the truck and it flips over. It flips over us with no problem. Rest in peace, that truck, though. All right, get back on your front now. Or just get thrown into the river. Right here's a little suspension experiment that I did, kind of trying to replicate real world suspension, which actually did not go terrible. Look at how well it can climb these hills and stuff. Let's see if anyone has something for us to run over. Yeah, this thing is actually really interesting. I might try something with this suspension system. This is a motorcycle that I don't think works anymore. Where are the wheels? I think the wheels are too strong. So if I make the wheels at the minimum strength, it should. Okay, yeah, so it does work right now. Now this is back in the early days of the select tool, where you could not make everything invisible. You could only make material blocks invisible, and other things had to stay regular. But yeah, this was a early motorcycle design. Not really sure why the front wheel is so slow. Mine also has a little tilting mechanism. Let me uninvis everything here. Transparency off. You see that little weight there lets us tilt to the side when we're trying to turn, which is an interesting little quirk of my machine. Now, next up is a tow truck. No, it should be able to drive. I don't know why it's not. But yeah, that's a tow truck. I think the back, I think it should be able to pick things up. Like, let's try grabbing this truck here. And it's the push button. Push is E. Lift it up onto the bed. And pull is Q to put it back down. Over here is a school bus. And I think the wheels need to have their torque put upwards. There we go. a lowrider. Now this here, this has hydraulics, because yes. They have changed the Roblox controls, so now the buttons that put these things back in make your camera zoom in. This here is a jumping car. If we press E, it uses servos to jump. Um, oh, this thing just opens and closes on its own when we get near it for some reason. And we just jump over the lowrider like that. This is a fun build to drive around. Whip, 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 whip. Okay. Anyways, that is everything for the Cars 3 slot. So let's load up the next one. Oh no, Cars 2 slot. We just did Cars 2. Now we're doing platform. I see what this is. This was a racetrack that I was building a long time ago that I never really got around to finishing. Um, so we don't really have anything that we can look at here. But what we can do is we can look at this little car that I made to use on the track. This is a zippy little thing, I think. Not really the best out there. I've definitely seen cars that are way faster, but it controls pretty well. It looks cool. It looks like a Matchbox car, doesn't it? That's what I think it looks like. Oh, and yes, it has a working steering wheel because why not? So yeah, let's load up the next build. Engines. This is an assortment of different mechanical stuff. Most importantly, out of this build is this. An engine that only seems to work half the time. Come on. There we go. This is a double inline 4 engine, and it has it should have a tilting thing here, but that stopped working one day for some reason. Over here is a little demo, or it's supposed to be a little demo of how it works. You see, these springs control the height of the other springs, and this thing doesn't work. I've tried it already. But right here, what does work, a universal bearing that lets you take rotational input from a wheel and turn it so that you can have like steering on a car that's controlled by power inside the car if you want. And next up is Mech. Now, I don't think this thing actually works. I think this has like I think yeah, there's spikes in there that were too heavy for me to lift. What is that? Is that a door from my ambulance? Oh no, that's a door from my camper van. It somehow made its way into this build. That's funny. All right. So I'll show you how this works. What you do is you extend these different pistons into your body. You grab glue and you attach it to yourself. And you very slowly disassemble your character. And there we go. We have fully disassembled our body. And now we just delete the chair. And, oh yeah, we get to turn off the collision for all of these so that we don't get all bugged out. And now we delete the different poles. And there's our new character. Now I just have to select everything and unanchor it. And now we have a very scuffed mech. I have to, goodness, it is very much having trouble. But yeah, we'll load up the next one. Funky car. This is a silly little build that I had stuck in my brain for like 3 years. And I finally submitted one day. I was like, okay, fine, I'll build it. It does this. This is all it does. It just wobbles around on its wheels like this. It was based off of this like one scene from like the Lego Batman movie where like the Joker had a silly car that did this kind of thing. Also the steering is messed up. And I was like, I could not stop thinking, hey, I could make that and build it for treasure. Hey, I could build that and build it for treasure. Hey, I want to build that. I want to build that. And one day I was like, you know what? Fine, I'll build it. And now we have this silly little, silly little goober. Turn these invisible, see how it looks. Yeah, it's silly. Next up, we have the monster. This is one of the first vehicles in this game to ever have proper suspension. And I'll show you here how that works. It has these two servos. Oh, it has these two servos, one of them which has a hinge on it that somehow acts like a kind of replication of the suspension system. It's really scuffed, but it works good enough for old days when we couldn't edit springs yet. Oh, and because why not? It has a working V12 engine. Now let's just drive this around a little bit. So let's climb this hill here. And with pretty much general ease, we can get up these mountain sides. They're not really much of a mountain, but compared to the rest of the game, yeah, it's a mountain. Now, I don't believe we can get up to this level here. I haven't actually tried before. No, because I have this slope in the front. I have this slope in the front that makes it easier to go up objects. Like, as you can see, it slopes us up that tree, and then we get stuck. But, yeah, that is the monster truck. Let's take a look at the next build. Oh, Mega. I don't remember what this is. Oh, no, I do remember what this is now. Let's turn it insta-load for a moment. This is a ball drive system, and I'll show you how that works here. We turn the wheel torque off. That is something that I forgot to do before. This controls these golden spheres to make you drive around, inspired by the iRobot movie, the way like cars had ball-shaped wheels in there. Um, as you can see, it's not as fast as I really wish it could be. Maybe if I adjust the spring tension, spring stiffness down to 100,000, possibly it'll work. No, I think that makes it weaker. I wasn't sure if it was pinching them too much. This is still very much an experimental build that I do want to work on it someday. All right, next build. We have mechanics. This is just my little mechanical contraption playground. Um, we have various builds here, like a magnet engine or other things. Um, actually, this is not fully complete right here, so let's turn everything unanchored, and I can show you this thing. I believe it turns. No, it does not turn, but its smaller cousin here does turn. It's a system that lets you link up two different wheels or hinges that are not at the same angle, which is pretty useful because you can see here when you double it up, you can make a wheel spin in the opposite direction. And over here, this doesn't work anymore because they changed the way that TNT works. But this used to be a blast chamber where you could put stuff in here. Like something that I like to blast a lot was timers. You place a bunch of timers around it and then blow it up. But now it just blows up the entire chamber. just disappointing in my opinion. Next over here, this thing doesn't really work for some reason. I don't really know what's wrong with it. Um, it's supposed to turn, but it just refuses to. Even if I turn the torque all the way up, it will not move. But it's supposed to be a system that lets you take like rotation and move it like this to any position that you need. And this was before they added ropes, which you can actually do the same thing with a rope. You can put a rope on two spots and then tell it to match rotation, and then you can simply move the rope like that. Oh wait, it's anchored. You can simply move the rope around and it'll match the rotation of whatever it's hooked up to. So this kind of linking is no longer necessary. Over here, this is just a simple linking of multiple wheels. Um, so you can make something stronger or faster with multiple wheels. This here needs a lever. I know that. So what this does is it's kind of a clutch where you can have a wheel go into a object and then pull back from the object so that it stops powering it, which can be useful, but I've never really found a good use necessarily for it yet. Um, right here is a aimable turret system. It only really works on stationary builds because if you're on like a ship or something and you lean back like this, when you're stationary, it just stops you from moving. But if you were on a boat, the whole boat would start flipping over backwards when you stopped there. Right over here, we have, I don't really know what this is. Let's turn it on. I think it's some kind of a hover mechanism or an experiment with magnets. Not really sure what it does. It was just an experiment. That's what this whole thing is. And over here is our magnet engine. I just built this today, actually, while I was starting the stream. You can see how it rotates the other wheel just by magnetic force, which is kind of cool, but it's just a quirky thing. There's no practical use for it. Or is there? Anyways, let's load up. Oh, wait, one more thing. This is another suspension test. This one actually works properly, though. Okay, it's supposed to work properly. The torque is too low. There we go. Just a simple suspension thing. As you can see, it's got a bar linking here that lets the rotation be transmitted through. Let's load up the next build. Rot. Now we are going to load Rot. I don't remember what this is. No, I do remember what this is now. So what this does is you see these two little arms here and that magnet there. Well, if I hit this here, it actually grabs onto one of the bars and then it's supposed to detach the glue and fire. But I couldn't really get the timing down for the bombs very well. Um, I really should try doing it, I think. And you will set off the, right? Oh, that went wrong, didn't it? Oh, that's going very wrong. Is it gonna fire any of them? Hey, it fired one! That's neat. Alright, let's load up the next one. Here. I see what this is. This is a differential gear system that we're using to half the rotation of this wheel. So I believe I need to turn the speed down to 10. Now I can show you what this does. We unanchor it all. We do this. Oh, I messed that up, I believe. What this should do is it'll compress the spring a bit, bugging out quite a bit, but I think we can snag a block on here, and that block will represent the height that this part of the wheel pushed it to. Now, if we just delete this and look at this second bar over here, touch it, let's see how far down it compresses. And you see that the torque of the wheel has actually been amplified by this gear mechanism because it fully compressed that. So this mechanism is actually useful. Now, let's load up our next build, W12. It's the same design as a F1 racing engine. Now, if I can get this to start up. There we go. So this is a W12 motor, and it has 3 pistons on every single cam, every single notch of the cam. So it's pretty cool. It does need a lot of strength to turn up because the springs are messed up. And we can turn off the transparency, and you can see the springs there. Pretty cool. Now this over here is actually the original differential mechanism, which will let me demonstrate how it works to you, or how it's supposed to work. So what this does is in cars, you see how this wheel is turning slower than that wheel because we are turning. That is what the point of a differential is so that your wheels aren't fighting, the speed of your wheels aren't fighting over how you're turning, which is you'll see like on trucks they have like a bit of like a bulb in the back, um the back wheels. That's what this is. That like large metal thing is the differential gear. Now let's load up the next one. Classic. This is my oldest boat in the game. I think it's about 8 years old. Got a little downstairs in here. Very nice. Um, you've got plenty of seats for your friends to join in the game. You've got 2 cannons for defense, and a throne for the driver who does not do much driving. Now, let's get this guy on our ship, and let's see how far this can make in modern buildable or treasure. All right, that's good enough. Now let's launch. I want to get on the boat. Shoot. I'm in. Okay. I want to stand in here so that the cannons don't. Oh, what? There was no window there. Oh, we probably would have made it to the end with how well we were doing, though. Next build, we just did classic. So now we're on to suspension. This doesn't look like suspension to me. What is this thing? Is this a clutch mechanism? Oh, it's not doing anything. Maybe I have to set it to 1.1 so that it pushes into the other wheel. Oh, it turned a little bit. Are these collision on? Those are collision on. Turned off. Oh, look at that. We have a clutch and a flywheel. That is pretty interesting. Now, it's not suspension, but that is sure something. Now, what do we have next? We have Beyblade. Oh, this is some kind of spinning top that I built. I think it's supposed to be, and we hit the switch here. And now, I believe we just hit something, and then we are spinning around, flying around the map. What a Beyblade. How fast is it going? Oh my goodness. We're gonna die. I survived. The Beyblade of 1897. Anyways, let's load up the next build. We have Express. Oh, this is a good one. I do have to take this candy right here, make myself a little bit smaller. Because the Roblox character is taller than I am in real life. You can't really squish yourself together like you can in real life with your Roblox character. You're just always out. Oh, I am big guy. Um, and then we hit this switch here, which should compact everything together. No, that's the wrong switch. That one compacts everything together, and now we have the van fully assembled. Let's drive over to this nice little path that we built over here for it. And I'll show you some of the features. Right here we have a little gaming setup with a chair that I moved over there. It's got two monitors and a PC there sitting on top of a toolbox. The PC fell down off the toolbox like 3 times when I was driving my van because I would forget about it. And right here is a roof fan that opens up, and that really helps cool down and control the temperature inside. Now we have lights as well, and you might notice that one of the lights is out right there. It didn't wire up properly when I built my van, and I never really bothered to fix it, so I left it like that in the game too. You got the diesel heater with the fuel tank for it right there. The bed that I sleep on, the electronics that I get solar power from up here, and the toolbox, kitchen cabinets that I never installed, and laundry baskets. And up here you have, okay, the steering wheel doesn't work. I thought it did. Mirrors. And over here, you can see the exhaust and intake for the diesel heater unit. It's kind of cool. Yeah, it has a lot of rust too. You can see the frame is completely rotted. That's how my van was. We got working doors everywhere. And right here, you can see the fuel cap for the tank here. This is how I would fill up my diesel for my heater at night. I would go to a gas station and I would just pump it straight into there, which is quite convenient. All right, now load up the old grinders slot. This was just what I used for the old grinders video, and I haven't really changed anything else yet. I'll probably use this slot for something new soon. Um, but this is a grinder that lets you teleport by pushing a portal forwards into this anchored wheel. I don't really know how it works, but it just does. So, anyways, we're going to load up the next build, which is the Nuke. We have here is a Nuke. We have to shrink ourselves down to get inside of it. And I'll show you how this works. It's not just a bunch of TNT in one spot, but instead, it's a sphere made of TNT that I built. And we are going to unanchor here. Um, so let's slow down here. And we'll fly into this building, which we are going to unanchor. And hit it. There goes the building. Completely obliterated. That was fun. All right. Let's load up the next build here. Clown. Oh, this is an interesting little thing. This is just a turret. Oh, wait a second. I see what this is. This is a turret magnet glitch. How does this work? Oh, can I fly with this? Oh. Ah, go back down. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no, I've lost control. I've lost control. Okay, this thing does not really work very well. Okay. Well, it was probably an experiment. On to the next build. Monster 2. Yeah, I think that's more reasonable. So it uses three springs. The two on the sides have hinges, and the one in the middle only has a hinge where it meets the second bar, so they can flex around pretty well. So the whole entire suspension can compress, but when one wheel lifts up, the other one tries to go down, and vice versa. As you can see, that like that, when it rotates around the spring in the middle, it makes the other side go up more. So I think it also takes rock bumps really well. Let's try it out. Oh yeah, this thing takes these bumps pretty easily. That is a that is a nice suspension system. Alright, let's load up the next build, which is called What is this thing? Are they anchored off? Yep. Okay. We got some rotation now. Well, that's a pretty neat mechanism. I think it's to make like something really slow. I wonder if I could do this with a wheel instead. Yeah, that is pretty dang slow. Let's move on to the next build. We just did so we're moving on to off-road. Oh, this is an off-road testing course. Let's get a build to use on the off-road testing course first. And we are fully ready to test out our suspension. So now we have stage one. There's just some bumps, a little climb, and then let's actually get rid of this wall so we can see what we're doing. A gentle hill, easy. Stage two, some harder bumps, a little bit more of a climb, a steeper hill, not that bad. Stage three, more bumps, three steps on the climb, steeper hill, not that bad. Stage four, I think it's going to start getting hard now. All right, we made it. Let's go up our staircase. Bottomed out a little bit there. And we made it over, though. This is stage five. I think this is going to be where our journey ends. And our back wheels. Oh, come on. I'm getting a little caught, I think. There we go. We made it over. Oh, it looks like the steps collapsed a little bit. That's a shame. Can we get up this hill? That is the question. Okay, with a bit of speed, we were able to climb it. And getting over these little ledges here seems like it might be a tough challenge. Come on. All right. Stage six. This is looking quite spicy for the Fakuda, but we can wiggle through it. Okay, we got through those, surprisingly. Now I just need to get up this ledge here. The bump fields. There we go. We got over it backwards. Mostly. Oh, yeah. I don't think we're gonna make it up the staircase, though. No, we're fully stuck now. Alright. Well, we made it to stage six with the Fakuda. So that's the Fakuda and the off-road course. Let's load up the next build. Alright, so let's try that again. Oh, what happened? Yeah, it doesn't work, and I kind of gave up on it. I might try and fix it someday. Let's load on to the next build. Another tank, this time with a lowercase t. Oh, I see. You get in through here. And then here's the driving area. And I believe this tank actually does have suspension. Yeah, there is suspension on this tank. I don't really know why it needs that. I think that's a little too fast right there. Turn that speed down. Shooting at him. Yeah, this is a pretty neat looking tank, I guess. I think it's supposed to have an engine. Um, E. Let's just delete this and look straight at it. Yeah, that is an engine. Um, it is a little scuffed, because I think this is kind of incomplete. Um, but yeah, that is a tank. Let's make this go faster. Speed this up. Okay. Next up we have, Nacho. I wonder what this is. Ah, this is a compact V8. I'll show you that here. See, we've got each of these pistons firing, and if I turn off all the transparencies, you can see how this works. I think it looks even cooler when it's not transparent like this, because you see all these bars that are like pulling these up and down, which looks really cool. But let's move on to the next build. 1-1. Oh, you guys don't get to see this yet. This is for the next video. Bakuda, um, scale. We already did Bakuda. Let's do the scale now. This was my attempt at making a scale that can measure blocks. I don't think it really works. We can put like a wood block here and measure it against a rust block, which is way heavier. And let's see how much the rust block is compared to a cobblestone. 2 cobblestone, 3 cobblestone. That seems like that's a bit heavier now. But it does get stuck a lot of the times when it really shouldn't get stuck. So it's not really an accurate device. Why are we still here? This is the next save file. Oh god, I know what this is. Oh god, I know what this is. Oh god, I know what this is. It's a toilet full of poop. And I believe it actually flushes. It flushes very violently. Okay, let's flush it again. We clogged the toilet. But yeah, and we have a flushing toilet. Am I proud of it? Not really. It just flung the crap out of the toilet. Tank example. You guys might recognize this from my video on how to make tanks. Um, this is just a simple off-roading tank. It's a fun off-roading tank. Oh, and we're upside down now. I don't think I can fix this easily. It is still perfectly controllable, though. Anyways, let's load up our next build, which is ambulance. I built this build on a stream, actually. This is just a cute little ambulance build. It ain't much. We have this thing. Oh, I see. You're supposed to open the doors manually. It doesn't open them when you hit the levers. Yeah, that's just an ambulance build. You can see this door's handle is clipping into the wall. I never fixed that. Let's load up our next build. We have moving this. Oh, hello. How did I end up in the neutral zone for a moment? So this is a build that you might recognize if you watch the history of grinders video, because I used that in the intro of it. But the cooler part of this build is actually this car here. What it does is, well, that's a camera, lights. We got some lights in the front. Now this switch to open it does this. Extendable cannon. Yes. Okay, and it's bugging out. But yeah, that is that is a pretty cool build. And then you can fold it back up if you put it there. The cannon retracts fully back into the container and it closes up nice and seamless. Now right over here, this is the vehicle that I used in the grinder history video. There we go. So you've probably seen this drive around before, so we don't have to worry too much about that. It is supposed to have this hinge here. It's kind of buggy though. If I put it just two, maybe it'll twist better. You see, like, the front of it is like, it doesn't really turn in the right direction when you're trying to turn. I don't know why. I think it's because the wheels are too close. But then I can show you in first person what it's like down in here. So we've just got an empty area here. Um, and some things down here. Weapons. And up you have a sniping platform to shoot at other people. Also, you can clip through here, and sometimes you can clip back in. Doesn't really work all the time. I think I can get back in through this window, though. No. Well, that's what this door is for, in case you get stuck out. But yeah, that is that build. Let's move on to Rolly. I don't know what this is. Oh, wait a second. And then you drive this around in it, and the weight is supposed to make it roll. But for some reason, it's stuck in place. I can't get it to move. I've tried deleting all the extra things. Oh, there we go. Now we're getting it to roll around. This is the Rolly. I probably should have made it out of a lighter block like wood or something. But yeah, you can drive around in your little hamster ball. Let's make it partially transparent so we can see the car inside as we drive it. Yep, that's a hamster ball. Now, how fast can we get going? Pretty fast, it seems. How well does it drive on the river? Not too shabby, actually. Imagine that. We just discovered a new grinder. The sphere car. Oh, what just happened? Did you guys see that? It looked like it started deleting itself. Was that just a graphical bug? I think it was just a graphical bug. Yeah, let's keep going. Alright. I'm done with this. I'm gonna move on to the next build, which is going to be building. We've already done building, so now we're on to Slavic. Oh, I see what this is. This is a little Jeep built by one of my friends. They modeled it and used it in their game. They're the same people that made the Fukuda. And, oh, the steering is backwards. That's kind of weird. It's a fun little car to drive around. It's supposed to have a little rocket launcher thing here on the back that I never really finished building. You can see I have some plastic blocks in there. I started building it, but I never finished. Oh yeah, if you fall over, you can just get back up by putting the wheel on the side. It's kind of a zippy little car too. The wheels are even at the max speed, so let's speed that up. Meow. Okay. And there's some bread lying around in the build, but that's always a good thing. Oh, I sped up the turret as well. Okay, let's move on to the next build, which is Land Leviathan. This is the very last build that I have to show you guys. Ah, this is a pretty cool one. So this is an old build. Um, it has a lot of features in it, like this thing that you use to lift yourself up in, called an elevator. Over here, there are escape pods that I think like it pushes it out like that. Yeah. Over here, there's a bunch of mines. I don't think I actually have the mines working right now. And then there's this thing. This is a rocket launcher. Um, activate F. Uh-oh, that's not right. Uh, B, R. Uh-oh. None of the... Okay, yep, that's how the rocket launcher works. So that's apparently broken. This here is an extendable cannon turret that goes between the wheels. So you can come out here and shoot at stuff. And if you feel like you're in danger, you can just pull yourself back into the main vehicle. Over here we have these little cannons here that you sit in and shoot. Up front, we have this lever. I don't know what it does. Oh, and we have these little hanging harpoons in the front for decoration. I think these are machine gun cannons. I do not know how to get tree blocks. I think they're from codes. Yes, we do have machine guns. Um, what else do we have? Right in here, we have nothing. Oh, and I believe if I hold W, yeah, look at that. That switch, that's what the switch does. It turns on these decorative turbines. Yeah. One more thing to look at. We have this little turnable turret. I think it's like partially invisible for some reason. It's bugged out. That seat is like a mile long. But yeah, we have this little harpoon turret that we can shoot around. And um, ta-da! Magic. Well, that's going to be the end of the Land Leviathan. The other thing that I had to show you was just a little cannon turret that we've already seen before. That is all of the save files that we have.